Hi, I'm Wade from Thoroughbred Diesel. Today we're going to be talking to you about the difference between 5.9 and 6.7 Cummins feed tubes. So this video is just going to be a basic explanation of the difference between 5.9 and 6.7 feed tubes. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you all the facts about the two feed tubes, and then we're going to give you an opinion of what you 5.9 guys should use in certain instances. And we'll talk through that as well. So with the unveiling of the 6.7 motor in 2007, Cummins and BOSCH changed the design of the feed tubes that feed the injectors. Now, just for a little bit of backstory here, if you're not familiar, in a Cummins engine, 5.9 and 6.7s, you have the injectors that are held into the head, and then you have a feed tube, cross tube, that is a that delivers fuel directly to the injector. As so, it's not threaded into the injector body. It is a press fit from the injector nuts or the feed tube nuts that are on the outside of the head. You have this seal at the injector. There's a certain torque to this seal to keep fuel flowing without leaks between the injector and the feed tube. So there's the functionality of that. We've had several people order injectors from us, call us and say, hey, you didn't send me the right thing, and they were looking at the feed tubes. So the feed tubes are running, layman's terms, just east-west in the head, and the injector sits north-south in the head, pointing towards the engine cylinder. When the 6.7 engine came out, the feed tube was redesigned. The feed tube was, the material that was used in the feed tube was changed. The orifice in the end of the feed tube was also enlarged as well. The material of the feed tube was changed because of the higher pressures in the 6.7 injection system. The orifice was enlarged to accommodate the fuel flow for the 6.7 injector. So for you 6.7 guys, there's really not a lot here for you other than just basic knowledge. This is your feed tube. This is a 6.7 injector. The engagement of the feed tube to the injector is the same as it is in the 5.9. Injector sits north-south in the head. Connector tube comes in east-west, and there is your high side connection between the injector and the feed tube. So again, not a lot here for you guys. This video is more centered for our 5.9 customers. Now, 5.9 customers from 03 to 07, if you're looking at a Cummins part catalog and you're looking by your engine serial number for your 03 to 07 motor, you will notice that the feed tube part number is the exact same as it is for a 6.7 customer. So what Cummins did to get it down to one SKU, they suggest the use of, or they provide the use of the 6.7 feed tubes from the 03 to 07 year 5.9 trucks. Now, that's worked for several of our customers, but BOSCH doesn't buy into that. BOSCH continues to produce, and other manufacturers as well, continue to produce the 5.9 feed tube. Now let's give you a little bit of insight on the 5.9 feed tube, and we'll start comparing the two feed tubes with this. The 5.9 feed tube, you will notice, is the same length on the business end of the feed tube. Now you won't be able to see this on the camera, but the engagement of the feed tubes into the head and the distance to the injectors is the same. So from this distance to the termination of that is the same distance. But the overall length of the injectors, or of the feed tubes, excuse me, the overall length of the feed tubes is different. The 6.7 feed tube is just slightly longer, and that has no bearing on its engagement in the 5.9 head. It still has the engagement to the injector the same, but the protrusion from the head is a little bit longer. Now the 6.7 feed tubes, again, work fine in the 5.9s. Sticks out just a little bit farther in the head. Doesn't make any change in the lines. Excuse me, good catch there, Wade. Doesn't change the engagement of that. But the 5.9 feed tube has a couple of other visual differences that you'll see. First off, it has a different coating process than we have with the 6.7s feed tube, and this is also a little bit of a softer material. Softer material, not as high injection pressure in the 5.9s as well. The orifice size on the 5.9 feed tube is a little bit smaller than the 6.7, perfectly accommodating for the 5.9 injection system. but nonetheless a little bit smaller, as well as the alignment buttons on these, I'm going to call them. For a genuine 5.9 feed tube, you'll see there's 2 ball bearings that are in here. You have one almost Woodruff key looking alignment dowel that are on the 6.7 feed tubes. And then the barrel of the 5.9 feed tube, you can see, is a little bit longer and thinner, comes to a slower taper than what the 6.7 does. That doesn't have any bearing on any functionality of it, but just visually you can look at this and see that longer, more gradual taper on the 5.9 feed tube, and you will know the difference between the 5.9 feed tube and the 6.7 feed tube. Same O-ring, same everything else. So back to using 6.7 feed tubes in 5.9 injectors. So our 5.9 injector here, again, Cummins has got it down to 1 SKU, and they will sell you what I'm calling a 6.7 feed tube for your 5.9 injector truck. BOSCH again doesn't buy into that. They continue to produce the 5.9 styled feed tube, and my personal opinion, there's a reason for that. And also what we've seen, and that's how we'll get into the opinion portion of this. We have sold 6.7 feed tubes from 5.9 injector trucks, tens of thousands of them, no problems whatsoever. But what we have found is the callbacks that we do get on 5.9 customers using 6.7 feed tubes on no start conditions, and they have to go through the retorques to get the truck running. They just don't seal as well, and that's especially prevalent on guys that are doing head gasket jobs and putting the same injectors back in. Now, we usually don't get a lot of callbacks when you've got a guy that orders new 5.9 injectors and puts 6.7 feed tubes in it. We usually don't hear back from that guy, but it's the guy that's taking the head off, doing a head gasket, and he just orders new feed tubes, and he goes with the 6.7, the Cummins specification, orders 6.7 feed tubes, and that's the guy we usually get the callbacks from. But the customers that don't, that use the 5.9 feed tubes for a 5.9 injector, every time, not every time, you just don't get a callback on that. The problem with that is, and it's inherent, it doesn't matter whether it's 6.7 or it's 5.9, you've got to get the torque correct on the feed tubes. One of the most important part of the installation process of the 5.9 and the 6.7 injectors is getting the injector torque down correctly, and then getting the feed tube torque down correctly to that. That has everything to do with the high pressure seal between the feed tube and the injector body. So just to recap, quick Cliff Notes version of it. There's a difference between 6.7 and 5.9 feed tubes. Cummins will tell you that it's all one part number. BOSCH tells you differently. They offer 5.9 feed tubes and they offer 6.7 feed tubes. There's a visual difference in the 6.7 5.9 feed tubes. There's a material difference in the 6.7 and 5.9 feed tubes. All of those are facts. What we find here at Thoroughbred Diesel, if you're a 5.9 guy, well, also another point to this, 5.9 feed tubes are not going to work in 6.7s. 6.7 feed tubes stay in 6.7s. 6.7 feed tubes can be used in 6.7s and 5.9s. But what we find with the 5.9 customers is it's usually a better choice for you to stay in your 5.9 feed tubes, and we offer them here at Thoroughbred Diesel. We feel like the sealing characteristics of this feed tube on this injector body, especially on the used injectors or the injectors that are just coming out for a head gasket job or whatever it is, seem to do a lot better job as a sealing surface. And every time you have your injectors out, we always suggest that you change the feed tubes out at any rate. So if you have a question about this video, or if you have a question about the difference between 5.9 and 6.7 feed tubes, just give us a call. And thanks for watching.